Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Vintage Furniture.
This is like one of my bucket list deals, folks. He looks like a giant.
That's what it's all about. This is what it's all about right here.
They are much harder to find than you would think.
Right there by that cedar tree.
Squeeze the trigger. That's the one I'm looking for. Went 3 feet, straight down. Ooh, 45-70 rides again. Lord, look at the size of that one.
Well, as my old buddy Greg says, it's just another beautiful day in paradise.
Folks, that's old school right there.
So, November, I get a call from an unfamiliar number, but it was a Texas area code, so I answered it. And it's Mr. Joey Newberry. And Joey was asking about a kudu that was harvested.
Got us a kudu, baby. The double G. How about them apples? Here in Texas, any exotic is free range game. Low fence here at the double G. I don't know how I got here.
And I said, yeah, my son had harvested a wonderful kudu at the double G. And it's like, well, I'm your neighbor to the south. I said, well, I've been wanting to meet my neighbor to the south.
Me and my wife were watching this show one night and watching Old School Outdoors, and I told my wife, I said, man, that country looks just like our country out here. I said, we kept watching and watching, and I said, it's got to be out here close somewhere, and come to find out they were our neighbors. And Joey, my son, called him up, and he got to talking to him and invited him over for a hunt.
Well, I get a call from Greg, and he says, I think we need to go back to South Texas and hunt a little more. I said, when? He says, the end of January. I said, the end of January, there's nothing open. He goes, oh yeah. He says, my next door neighbor has called, and he would like for us to come do an aoudad hunt. I said, really? We neither one have ever aoudad hunted before, so we seized the opportunity to go and chase aoudad sheep around.
This is like one of my bucket list deals, folks, is to harvest an aoudad with my 45-70. And audads are North African sheep, goat. They call them Barbary sheep, but they're kind of really a sheep and a goat mixture. Very hardy animals, and they thrive in this country. They can actually live in these arid desert areas with very little water. They can get enough water from eating cactus and different plants and stuff to survive for a long time. So they thrive in the Chihuahuan terrain that we're in here in West Texas.
This ranch is made up of 3 ranches that we put together over the last several years. We run cattle. It's a hunting operation. We're family owned and operated. All of our cattle is run by family and our ranch foreman here on the ranch. All of our hunts are guided by our family.
The Newberry ranches that adjoin Greg on his south boundary line has approximately 25,000 acres there. They have quite a number of different exotics, a lot of whitetail also. So we saw a little bit of all kinds of critters.
So to envision the vastness of this country out here, their property line is my back property line of the double G. Probably if you walked where their headquarters is 4 or 5 miles. To get there by vehicle takes over an hour.
The terrain over here is, you got kind of some rolling hills, and it gets pretty rough in places. A lot of it is not vehicle accessible. You're gonna have to hike in and hike out, and it's pretty rough.
So the ranch is made up of about 25,000 acres. We can accommodate up to 12 people, but typically we host 2 to 5 hunters at a time. We sell a very limited number of hunts a year. So when you come out, it'll be you and your family. Usually no other hunters with you. You're hosted by family. We take care of you. We put you up, feed you, make sure you have plenty to eat, plenty to drink, and we have a good time.
Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Wide Open Outfitters. Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Vintage Furniture, Orthopedic Specialists of Louisiana, Wide Open Outfitters, Belt Fed Apparel, Heat Wave, and by Homes for Troops.
Well, the first morning dawns fairly bright and not so early.
Ready to load up and go see what we got.
Yeah, it's just about that time, so I think we better be getting everything together.
Right.
And get on the machine. Let's go see what we can see. One thing about many of these exotics, it's not that important to be out there at the literal crack of dawn. They're not real happy with cold weather. They don't move real early with cold weather. Well, to me, it would appear like it might be tough to find an animal around here, being as there's only about 25 of them standing right there right now,
Well,
right outside.
Kind of like the double G. Yes, an abundance of wild.
A really nice buck fallow deer standing right there now, looking at us like, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Knowing that it was going to be approximately high 30s, low 40s, we had decided ahead there was no reason to be out extremely early. So
I feel blessed to be here to meet our neighbors.
I know.
Y'all been here since 2010,
Yes, sir.
and
well,
I bought the double
the original
G.
place, it's 07.
Oh, 07. Okay,
sir.
so we've been neighbors for 10 years and we never met.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
well, you're so close out here.
yeah. Well, we are.
It's only a 45-minute drive from here to your house.
And that's if the weather's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Newberry's Ranch is a family-run operation. I mean, from the youngest boy to the grandma and grandpa. I mean, but it's stand-up.
This is what it's all about right here. Good morning. Good morning. So,
These boys are ready. I
to
can
get
tell.
us some guidance? Yeah.
The boys are out there playing and building stuff outside. They're outside the whole time. When we're out there hunting, they're helping us spot animals. And heck, they saw more animals than we saw. They were spotting them for us.
What we're going to be doing this morning, we're going to be getting on the Ranger. We're going to be riding up on top of the ridges, and then we'll stop and we'll glass and look down in the bottoms of the canyons and stuff and on the sides and see if we can spot one.
Little spot and stalk type.
Then from there, we'll do a little spot and stalk.
There you go. Sound like a good game plan.
So we got our chief guide here.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're going to go get them.
They got those eyes that see stuff we can't even begin to see.
That's right.
We end up leaving the ranch house probably approximately 7:30 or maybe a little closer to 8 o'clock. Get out and start our search for the Aoudad sheep.
So we head out and we glass and we glass and we look in these canyons and we look in these draws and we see gemsbuck. We see sable. We see abundance of whitetails. But every place we look, we cannot see an Aoudad.
They are much harder to find than you would think. Now, given you're on a approximately 25,000 acre ranch, it's a lot of area to try to cover.
The vast array of animals that they have, you know, from Gims buck to Aoudad to black buck, and then more whitetail than you can shake a stick at.
Yep, that's the double G right over there, due north in the distance, and your property, I guess that's your northeast property line there meets my southeast property line. Then we got a mile. You got a mile through there against my property.
Right.
We're neighbors, but it's a long way between houses and the neighbors out here in this country.
Yeah, that's a hop
big
right
country.
there.
And a long drive to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get here straight through there.
You wanted to walk to your neighbor's house, you better leave about daylight. You might make it by lunch.
Better pack your backpack and have some lunch.
You might make it by lunch, maybe.
Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Orthopedic Specialists of Louisiana. Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Belt Fed Apparel.
You know, Dennis, with 24,000 acres, I mean, you can look, there's a lot of territory here that they can hide in.
And they just don't stand out like a sore thumb to begin with.
Yeah.
And then they get in a vast area like this. It's not like picking an apple off the apple tree.
No, this is big country, man. And all these different draws and stuff is like, they can be right on the other side of that. We just can't see them, but we'll keep easing around.
It doesn't take a whole lot of noise for them to hear you coming a long ways off.
They're big, smart animals.
Yeah.
We're riding, we're glassing. These are big canyons. We stop, we park, we look, we glass. We'll sit on a rock and just glass and look. This is big country, and you think you can see forever, but down at the bottom of these draws is thick, thick, thick.
The hunt was from a vehicle with respects to trying to spot the animals. Once you would spot it, at that point you prepared to try to stalk it.
We're probably 150, 200 yards from where we parked the Ranger. We're just kind of sitting, looking, and then I catch a glimpse.
We hunted for quite a while through the morning before we finally did catch sight of an Aoudad ram. He happened to be alone, this particular ram, and we began our stalk on him.
I see one, Mike.
Yep.
Right straight across, low on that ridge.
Right.
Just kind of feeding. Looks.
That's a male. Can't see how big he is, but
He's a long ways over there.
pretty nice.
Some people might perceive that to be an easy hunt. Let me tell you, this is not a give me hunt.
Pretty good drop on this old 45-70, really 200 yards. We're going to be like 300. He was on the move, kind of coming this way. Got about a 3-foot drop at 300 yards.
When I say we spotted him, we first saw the ram at probably 1,000 to maybe 1,200 yards or further away. So you're not going to shoot from that distance. You've got to get within, hopefully, 200 or 300 yards. Now, at times you're forced to take a longer shot, but if you can get within 200 to 300 yards, it makes it much better. It gives you the opportunity and the feel-good part about, okay, I can make this shot. That's not a problem.
What do you think, Mr. Mike?
I think what we're going to have to do is ease down right here.
Yeah.
And ease up on top of that ridge area. You ought to be just on the other side of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's...
We're gonna have to be stealthy. We're gonna have to take it slow. We're gonna have to stalk up, because if he sees us, it's gone. It's over with.
On this particular morning, we had give it the old rock, paper, scissors trick and figured out it was Greg's first shot to make. And so this first Aoudad, we're working into it and trying to get him the best shot we can. And this rocky terrain now, you think you can just walk out across there like you do your living room floor. It doesn't happen. It's rocky. The rocks roll. It's anything but flat. It's, all but vertical in some areas. So, you have to really take your time and work your way around and be careful that you don't injure yourself, because you can fall in a heartbeat.
Hey folks, this is the first Aoudad I've hunted, but to me, he looks like a giant.
Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Homes for Troops. Season 7 of Old School Outdoors is being brought to you by Vintage Furniture, Orthopedic Specialists of Louisiana, Wide Open Outfitters, Belt Fed Apparel, Heat Wave, and by Homes for Troops.
Greg, he's right down there at the bottom in those shadows. Right there by that cedar tree. Oh, I got him. I got him right there.
Hokamaka!
4570 rides again. That's 6 shots in the state of Texas this year, and another one bites the dust.
That was a hunt there, buddy.
Congratulations.
I'm telling you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good shot. Good shot.
We were driving around looking through some of the canyons, and our guide, Joey, got a phone call from his father, Mike, informing us that Mr. Greg just put down a giant Aoudad.
Okay, he got him. Let's go.
One down.
A lot of times you shoot something that's like you're closer to get to it, the smaller they get. They look big. I used to have a Barbados sheep here at the Double G, and they looked big out at 200 and 300 yards, but when you got up to them, they're really small animals. The closer I got, the bigger this sucker got. It's like an amazing, these things are 300-pound animals.
The walk over here seemed further than 200 yards. Mike, I sure appreciate this. This is my first ever Aoudad hunt. And I couldn't imagine they're as big animals as they are. The horns are massive, and that beard and their chaps on their legs are just
Beautiful, aren't they?
Beautiful animal.
You really got a good one here. He's very nice.
It's like this is the most amazing animal, and I feel so blessed to have been able to harvest it. And the size of the horns, this ain't no dink. This is this sucker was huge.
And it was, wasn't no give me hunt.
No, sir.
No, we worked for this one a little bit.
We had our head guy out here, Collins, with us.
Yeah, he was on him. He kind of reminded me of a pointer. He was on him, man. Once we've got him on the ground and we're to the animal, Mr. Mike calls Joey. They're on the other side of the ranch at the time, Joey and the crew that's hunting on the opposite end of the ranch, which includes Vinny. They get in contact with one another, and immediately Joey and the rest of the group comes back to where we're at.
Old 4570 rode again.
I thought I would have heard that cannon go off.
Our hunt this week was, man, it was just great. We had a real nice hunt. Enjoyed having them here. They're great people. They're down-to-earth people. What you see is what you get, and they're real good people.
I guess the best way for me to say this is not their first rodeo. They have done this more than once before, and they know how to take care of you. They're very family-oriented people. Leslie and her 2 young boys, they're just part of it. They enjoy the outdoors and the ranching and the hunting, and it was really enjoyable to have them along with us also.
So in closing on this hunt, folks, it's amazingly difficult to stalk and hunt an Aoudad. These things are smart, they're big, and it's a tough hunt. To be able to get one with a 45-70, which is basically a primitive weapon, and get up close enough on a stalking hunt was an amazing deal. But to top that off, to meet your neighbors, that even though they're right here, it's still an hour drive to get to their ranch, to my ranch, but to meet their whole family, the father, son, all the wives, it just made you have that good feeling inside that not only is this an amazing place to hunt, but they're amazing people. Folks, if you're looking to have a good time in the state of Texas, whether it's winter or summer, you can hunt year-round here. Check out Newberry Ranches. You'll be glad you did.